Guys, my name is Ankush Gaurav and I welcome you to Gone to series. In the earlier tutorial, I talked about some of the basic database operations that we can perform using Hibernate provided functions like save, get, update and delete. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to talk about one of the most important concepts supported by Hibernate framework, and that is the concept of transient, persistent and detached states of a Hibernate object in a Hibernate application. So let's start. You'll understand more with this simple demo which I've already created here. Here I've created a student class which is representing student table, which I've already created in the database, having two columns, student ID and student name. And here is the main class where I'm going to write code to demonstrate you this simple concept. Guys, if you remember, in the earlier tutorial, I explained you the concept of save function. What I did was, I created a student object and then I passed that object to the save function. And when I ran the application, Hibernate happily inserted a new student record into the student table. If I run this Hibernate application for one more time, what Hibernate will do? It will simply insert one more student record into the student table. Let me run it and show you how this thing works. So it inserted a new student record into the student table as per the expectation. What it means is, every time I run this piece of code, Hibernate will simply insert a new student record into the student table. Now I'm going to make a very small change over here. I'll add this statement just before save function. Now if I run this Hibernate application, what it will do? It will save a new student record with the name gone to 1 modified before save function, or with the name gone to 1. Let's run and check this out. So it has inserted a new record with the name gone to 1 modified before save function. And that's the usual behavior. I modified student object just before save function. So when I passed that student object, it considered the last modified value for student name for the student object. Alright, everything is clear so far. Now I'll make a very small change again in the code. I'll put this statement right after save function. So now when I run this Hibernate application, what it will do? It will insert a new student record with the student name gone to 1 modified before save function, or with the student name gone to 1 modified after save function. Let's run and check this out. If we see in the logs here, Hibernate has fired two queries, one insert and other one is update. Now question is, why Hibernate fired an update query when there is no update function written over here? I simply wrote a save function and there is no update function over here. So why Hibernate fired this update query? Let's check in the database what it has inserted into the student table. Oops, it has inserted a new student record with the name gone to 1 modified after save function, which means it considered this student name value for inserting a new student record into the student table. So something unusual Hibernate is doing when I'm running this piece of code. Let me first tell what exactly Hibernate did behind the scenes when I ran this Hibernate application, and then I'll explain in detail the reason for doing so. Here with this code, Hibernate first inserted a student record with the name gone to 1 modified before save function here. And then when it found this statement in the code after save function, it immediately fired an update query to modify the name of student from gone to 1 modified before save function to gone to 1 modified after save function. So in the end, when Hibernate completed running the application, you found a new student record with the name gone to 1 modified after save function. Now question is, why Hibernate fired an update query after finding this statement here after save function? And the simple reason is, the concept of Hibernate object states. Guys, this is a very important and simple concept in a Hibernate framework, but I would need a little more attention of yours to understand it. This concept says you create an object and then you pass that object to the save function. It says till the point you pass this object to the save function, the object is set to live in a state known as a transient state. Once you pass this object to the save function, right after that, till the point you close the session, the object is set to live in a state known as a persistent state. And what's good thing about persistent state is, once an object is into a persistent state, after that, if you make any modification to that object, then Hibernate would make sure that it would fire an update query in order to sync that modification with the database record. And that's what happened here in this case. I passed the student object to the save function, and according to this concept, its state got changed from transient to persistent. And as a result, when it saw this statement while executing this application, it fired an update query to sync the student object modification with the already persisted or inserted student record. The idea is very simple. Once you provide an object to the Hibernate sessions save function, then Hibernate will persist or insert that object into the database table. And after that, till the point you close the session, Hibernate will make sure to sync any modification made to that object with the database table for the already inserted record by firing an update query. Alright, so far all things are clear. Now one last concept. If an object is in a persistent state, the way student object is in a persistent state over here, when you close the session, it goes again into a new state known as a detached state. What it means is, if I write this statement right after session.close, what will happen? When I run this Hibernate application, what Hibernate will do? It will insert a new student record with the student name gone to unmodified after save function, or with the student name gone to unmodified post session.close statement. Hibernate says when an object is in a persistent state and you make modification to that object right after session.close, then in that case Hibernate would not sync that modification with the already existing record in the database. So what it means is, because I have modified this student object right after session.close, when I run this Hibernate application, Hibernate will insert a new student record with the student name gone to unmodified after save function and not with gone to unmodified post session.close statement. Guys, in this tutorial, my main aim was to introduce you with all these three states of a Hibernate object. We're going to look at all these concepts in detail in my subsequent tutorials in this series. Guys, thank you for liking my tutorials. If you have any comments or queries, please put them below the video or simply write to me on this ID. Please hit the like button if you really like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel Gone to Series. And I'm going to catch you in my next tutorial.